Today, we're going to be deep conditioning with the Miche Sparkling Cranberry Deep Conditioning Treatment. If you are not familiar with this product, this was a special edition deep conditioner that they came out, I believe, around the holidays of 2024. This product boasts cranberry seed oil and vitamin B5, and they say that it's for strengthening and shine. There is hydrolyzed quinoa in this product, but it is very, very low on the ingredients list, so I wouldn't rely on this for strengthening your hair. And then as far as the scent, as you can see there, I've used quite a bit of this. I'm almost done with this. It's an 8 ounce. But anyway, as far as the scent, this smells like a nice, tall, tart glass of cranberry juice. So if you like cranberry juice, you will very much like this deep conditioner. As far as the top 5 ingredients, it's water, slippery elm extract, penhydramonium methosulfate, cetyl alcohol, and then cranberry seed oil. So that cranberry seed oil is promised and in the very top of the ingredients. With that said, I'm putting on my deep conditioning cap and I'm going to tie up my edges to keep it from dripping all around. And we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about the Abbey Yung method. Hello, everyone. Kayla here, and this is What the Kink, a natural hair channel. If you are seeing this video, it means that I figured out how to isolate the audio from the external mic that I'm using and get it clear enough so that you can actually hear what I'm saying. If I went live instead, you'd never see this video anyway. Voila. So, on this first episode of this deep conditioner series that I'm hoping to start here, don't know, we're going to talk about the Abbey Yung method. This is a method that is getting a lot of attention lately, and I feel like a lot of people have hot takes on this method, but they don't know nothing about Abbey or anything about the specifics of the method. They just want to make a commentary on the fact that Abbey is a white woman and this method is gaining popularity amongst Black women. Honestly, I feel like that's what's going on. So hopefully we can listen here with an open mind and with curiosity, because I love curiosity, right? As a former science teacher. So first thing we're going to talk about is who is Abbey Yung, for sure. That's definitely a given, right? So Abbey is a YouTuber, and she is a rather large YouTuber. She also, I believe, is a trichologist as well. I believe she got that certification, and she makes these really sciencey focused videos. Sometimes she's like experimenting. There's a lot of product based videos where she's like looking into a category of product and like breaking it down for the girls. Prior to all of this, I have watched Abby's videos because if you watch me, you know that that kind of thing is interesting to me. The thing is, she only appears on my homepage and is recommended to me when she's making hair content. Abbey is not a hair YouTuber, guys. She makes skincare and all this kind of stuff too. And I'm just not into the skincare girly. So I tend to only watch her videos when it intersects with my personal interests. So there's that. Now, her method in general. What is her method? Her method in general is just her regimen. It is just her regimen, okay? She had really damaged hair. She rehabbed it. And then the parts of her regimen are really based off of the sciencey information that she presents in her videos. So why are we hearing so much about this now, especially when it comes to the natural hair world? First of all, things carry when they are a method. People love to talk about and share methods, right? So somewhere, I believe it was in 2025, it begun to be referred to as the Abbey Yung method instead of this is what Abby's regimen is over here, okay? And so I think the methodization came about because it made it easier for people to talk about and communicate about her regimen, because prior to that, somebody would have to go through all of her videos and then gather the information and then somehow put all the steps together. It was more work. But when something is a method and it's got steps, it's quick and easy to refer to. So I think that is why you're hearing so much about it. Even though Abbey has been on YouTube a while, she's been producing content that would be like the groundwork or the foundational steps of this for a while. But officially calling it a method took it out. And, you know, when things get popular, they often go outside of your general audience. Abbey is not necessarily talking to us, you know, with her audience. She's talking to people who maybe have color damage, heat damaged hair, people who Let's be real. Maybe don't even put conditioner on after they shampoo their hair. Ah, I'm just saying that's who she's talking to. But of course, this, with it becoming a method, has gone outside of her community. So, breaking down the method here, oftentimes when you hear people talk about her method, they say it has 11 steps. I don't know if I'm miscounting, but I feel like maybe they're counting the bond repair stuff as more than one step. But really, if you're using a bond repair product, you would be using that one in that step and not using others. So, I mean, I don't know. When I count, I don't get 11 steps out of her regimen. But here's the key things you need to understand, the aspects of it. Number one, most of these steps are absolutely optional. Like there's really only like 4 or 3 actually absolutely necessary core steps to this regimen. And everything else is based off of if you have heat damaged hair, color damaged hair, or you just regularly do a lot of manipulation or use a lot of heat. Then the other steps would come into play. Otherwise, not. Also, another aspect of this regimen is that Abbey is a drugstore queen. Okay. If you watch her videos, y'all, she love her some drugstore stuff. And she's going to present the facts as to why this drugstore thing is effective or just as great as whatever expensive ABCD thing that you would try, which is, I think, another appeal of why people like her videos is because she be talking about drugstore stuff. Okay, so I have the steps broken down and written down by the absolute core stuff and the optional stuff. So I'm going to be looking at my notes to get the information to you without mixing it up. Okay, so number one is kind of like a 1A and a 1B. Shampoo. That is an essential step here. So Abbey emphasizes regularly clarifying, right? So clarifying the hair to remove buildup and damage. Y'all know a lot of folks outside of the hair care world do not even be thinking to clarify at all. Clarifying, what is that? The second prong of shampoo is to use a more moisturizing shampoo as often as needed. If you need to wash your hair 2-3 times a week, then wash your hair 2-3 times a week. Another non-negotiable step of her routine is to follow that shampoo with a conditioner. Now, there are options here. She says it could be a rinse out conditioner, a deep conditioner, or a gloss. Okay. Or a mixture of those. So say you're doing a deep conditioner and you're also doing a gloss at the same time. So any of those, if it's some type of conditioner or gloss, that's another non-negotiable. Another non-negotiable for her routine is bond repair. Okay. I would read the directions on the bond repair product that you're trying to use because some of them are considered pre-poo treatments. Some of them are post-shampoo treatments. Some of them are leave-in treatments. So they would fall into the regimen wherever the directions make sense. And I think that's where some people are counting multiple steps with the bond repair. But in my mind, that's just one step because, for instance, I have color-treated hair. So I do Olaplex number 3, which is a pre-poo treatment, and I don't do any other bond repair. That's it. So let's go through the optional steps, and then I'll talk about what this regimen, some tweaks that would probably need to happen for type 4 hair. So optional step number 1 would be the oil pre-poo. This is strictly in there for high growth fatigue. We've seen the studies and things like that about high growth fatigue. It is noted that if you are doing a bond repair pre-poo, that you would skip the oil pre-poo. And typically when Abbey is talking about oil, it's more of those ceramine type hair oils that you can get at the store and not like grapeseed oil from the kitchen, like how we were doing back in early 2000s. So more of a ceramine type oil is what she is talking about. Okay. Another optional thing, it says styling product. I mean, that's self-explanatory. Whatever styling product that you need to do what you need to do. Yeah. And then a style sealer. This is a concept of like the dried finished hair, putting an oil or a serum or something like that onto the dried finished hair. And then she has this like between wash category where it would be like dry shampoo, or additional heat protectant between washes, which leads me, oh my gosh, guys, on the non-negotiables, I forgot a step. Let me go all the way back to the non-negotiables. A major key step after you've done your shampoo, whether that be clarifying or regular, your conditioner, your bond repair, you also need to do a leave-in conditioner, and it's leave-in conditioner and heat protectant is what she does, a combo, as a non-negotiable. Sorry, forgot that part. And of course, she's talking to an audience that may not consider doing leave-in conditioner. No shade, but this is probably revolutionary for some of the girls. All right, anyway, let's talk about applying this to type 4 hair. I would not clarify weekly. We have seen what over cleansing type 4 hair can do. We've all seen it. Okay. I'm not going to rehash that drama. So if you are wanting to do this, I would say for type 4 hair, I clarify once a month, and that's enough for me. See how your hair feels. Okay. Second thing is the conditioner step. I would stick to a rinse out or a deep conditioner if you're talking about type 4 hair, because we need something to have enough slip to be able to detangle our hair. Now, you can try glosses, but I've heard that many of them do not have a lot of slip. Now, her method does mention cocktailing some of this stuff. So maybe if you're trying a gloss, maybe cocktail it with a rinse out conditioner so it has enough slip and see what it does. I will say a lot of these hair glosses are rather pricey. I think of Amika. They have some glosses. And then the people that I use for my lotion, what is their name? Salt Air. Salt Air actually recently came out with a hair gloss, y'all, in the Santal Bloom scent. And I don't think it's terribly expensive if you do want to give this gloss thing a try. Also, you can go and look at videos by Abby to see what she's talking about. Because like I said, she's a drugstore queen. She gonna find you something inexpensive. Okay. And then the last thing I would say here is I would skip the dry shampoo. That tends not to be for us. Okay. Unless you want a powder wig on your head, I would not do it. If your hair is feeling icky or nasty, it's just time to wash it again, guys. Wash it. Give it another shampoo. Using the moisturizing shampoo, though, not a clarifying shampoo. Just saying. So I think I'll wrap this up by saying that don't just take my word for it. That's what we do with these methods. We hear about the method and then we start trying to apply it based off of what somebody else said. This is not the Kayla V method. This is the Abbey Yung method. Go to Abby's channel, watch the videos, really see the methodology, think critically about if that's going to work for type 4 hair, and then you can try this out. I know one thing about it is that I'm eventually going to get around to trying out a gloss because I feel like it's interesting and I'm really into salt hair in this moment, and they had the gloss come across my email, right? So just go to the source, guys. Drink water from the source. And with that said, I make videos every week. Subscribe if you want to see me come across your subscriptions page. And let me know if there's other topics you want me to cover. And I'll talk to you in the next one.